The headspace gauge is a little tight. I'm not taking it apart. I'll have to rethink this one. We're going to talk about the Hunt's long range recoil lug to switch the put a TL3 barrel on the origin action. And I have to confess something immediately. I already did it. So I already did it. I didn't turn the camera on. Caitlin walks in and she's like, "Is that the new barrel or the, whatever?" And oh, ta-da, So either way, what we're going to do, I'm not one of those people who can, take it all apart and pretend like I haven't put it together. I'm just not going to do it. I feel like I'm lying and I hate liars. So we're going to move on from here and I'm going to show you some details about it real quick. Basically what's going on is this barrel, it was given to me by a friend, Eli. He's got somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,500 rounds on the barrel. It's a 6 GT and it came off of his TL3 action. He no longer has a TL3 action, so he gave me the barrel. To tell you the truth, I know really nothing about this barrel other than I did check it out. It is a 7.7 twist and a 4-groove barrel. Other than that, that's about all I know about it. I put it on with the Hunt's long range recoil lug that makes it headspace properly. And it spun all on, everything's good. And I mean, I literally put it together to the point where the muzzle brake is on there, the scope's on there. I mean, this thing's ready to shoot, So I did it right. And I did already check headspace, and we're going to actually go ahead and talk about that. First of all, here, I'll actually show you the recoil lug. Let me get it in the light a little bit. This is the original origin recoil lug, and that is the lug to make this headspace. As you can see, it's definitely, the original is a lot thicker. Now, you're not going to run into a problem with that recoil lug. If you bend or do something to a recoil lug that's a little smaller like this, you've done something you shouldn't have done. So I'm definitely not worried about that. But what we are going to do though is we're going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and take you through the head spacing aspect of it. And not actually an issue, but what I found about it. Because I mean, that's the thing, is this going to headspace, So I'm going to put a mag in there so I don't drop my gauge. And matter of fact, this gauge is borrowed, so I definitely don't want to drop it. But we're going to get it set in here. This is a go gauge for 6 GT. Here, it'll catch it. I say it'll catch it. Yep, there it goes. Here's the deal. It stops right there. It starts to go, and then it stops. So the thing is, like I say, it doesn't shut on the go gauge, which you normally want it to shut on the go gauge. So the thing is, that doesn't mean it's no good. Because once again, I don't know about this barrel. This barrel could have been chambered just a little on the tight side. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull that out, and I'm going to go to a size piece of brass. This is size for the other 2 barrels I run. They literally headspace almost identical, and the shoulder bump is approximately 0.02, maybe 3, right in there. So what I did is, of course, I stuck a size piece of brass in there, and it shuts no problem whatsoever. And so therefore, and I also took the firing pin assembly out. That way there is no caulking piece in there. So you don't get any lug on the caulking piece. And I mean, it literally is perfectly fine. So that means it's just a very tight chamber, which is not a bad thing at all. Actually, a lot of people like a very tight chamber. The one thing you don't want is a very long chamber. And so therefore, if you have a no-go gauge, or you of course use the tape trick on the back of the go gauge and it still shuts, you're starting to get very long, and a long chamber is more dangerous than a short chamber. Either way you look at it, you want it in spec. That is important. This is right on that. This is going to be very, very close to the minimum. It's good as far as that goes. It headspaces correctly. Everything's good. So this brass is gonna be almost perfectly sized, so I'm not gonna have to do anything with my sizing. The one thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna take some ammunition and check seating depth, make sure that it's not a very short throat, and if it is, the throat is about the same as the others or just anywhere close to it, I'm actually going to take a load that I shoot a lot. We're going to run that load in it just to see. I'm not going to load up a bunch of extra rounds, do a ladder test on it yet. I want to put it in there, see if we have any problems. It's a safe load, it's a good load, it's my go-to load that's done very well in every single GT barrel so far. So that's what we're going to do. And also, I apologize if I'm winking or doing something. I'm not tweaking. Okay, just understand I do have Tourette's, so it's one of those things. I'm sometimes I seem a little off. People are like, oh yeah, he's tweaking. He's coming down off something. No, I don't. I promise. I'm just ticks. That's all. So but anyway, we're gonna. Well, I mean, it's together. I was gonna say we're gonna put it together, but no, we're not. The only thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check seating depth, make sure that's good, and I already have some ammunition in one of these boxes around here somewhere, and we're gonna take that out, shoot it, and just see what the results are. We're here. We got our. I almost called it a switch lug again, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm bad about that. It's the Hunt's long range lug, as we talked about. These loads that we've got here, we already had loaded up. I have a lot of faith in these loads because so far every GT barrel I've put them in, they've been just money. And I mean, almost to the T, within like 20-25 feet per second of each other. SDs, extreme spread, always been really low. It's always had extremely good groups. And we're putting them in here, seating depth, everything works good with it. So we're gonna send them. We're gonna see what happens. We're gonna check, make sure we don't have any issues with them. But then also we're gonna check, we got the Garmin sitting up here so we can catch all our numbers, and we're gonna see what kind of grouping it does. We're gonna go ahead and jump into it and do some shooting. Okay. I may send another one. Let's see. I better check that brass, make sure everything looks good. Brass was kind of dirty, sitting around for a while. Yeah, pressures look real. I mean, does not look like pressure at all, which shouldn't be with this load. Everything looks good on the brass. So, okay. Maybe. That's a tight 3 shots right there. Dang it, man. I hate to keep shooting them though. I'm gonna mess this group up real bad. I know I will. Yep, messed it up. Last shot. I pulled that one just a shade low. I pulled it about a 1/10 low. But there are 5 shots that's just one big hole. Oh, you know what? And that last shot opened up our spread just a little bit. Left is that way. I'm doing things backwards right now. So, anyway, I'm gonna leave that alone for now. Put the cap on there, so I will leave it alone. That is pretty dang good. And that last shot did open it up just a little bit. That's pretty good. I messed up on something. I had to move it earlier, but that last shot was actually our highest, and which shot it up about 5 feet per second more. But that average being 29.53, our average runs anywhere between 29.60 and 29.40, somewhere right in there on every barrel we have shot this load with. And this is pretty average right there for the SDs and everything. That is it literally shot like, here, maybe I'll quit hollering. It literally shot like every other barrel, every other GT barrel I put that through. Ooh, so that is my first 2 shots. I like that. I moved it, didn't move it quite enough, but that was my next 5 shots right there, which was very nice. And then of course I screw it up with the last shot. You know, it's typical. But either way, I'm extremely happy with that. Even the one that I messed up, because I'm gonna take the credit for that one. But very happy with it. Very happy with the numbers, the grouping. Speaking of being very happy with it, I am extremely happy with the PMag. I have not had a whole lot of luck with PMags whatsoever running very well with a 6 GT. Now, with that being said, I've also done it with a push round feed, not a control round feed like the Bighorn action. So maybe that had something to do with it, maybe not. The thing is it worked very well. I want to try it. Definitely try it some more before I shoot it at a match. If you've had any experience with it, leave a comment. Let me know if PMags seem to work very good with GTs or any other round that maybe typically does or does not work very well, whatever kind of action you have. If you have experience with the Hunt's long range lug or any other lug that headspace is a barrel not originally for that action, you know, leave that in the comments. Let us know about that, because I would love to hear it. This is the first experience I have with it, so I would love to hear that from y'all. And with that, I guess we'll just see you in the next video.
What you doing? Where's your phone?
It's over there.
Did you record it?
Mm-mm. The headspace engage is a little tight. It's a little tight. This now size piece of brass closes perfectly fine. And I mean, you almost can't tell the difference between that barrel and this barrel. This barrel's a little heavier, a couple inches longer kind of deal. You know, my 6.5 by 49. So, and that's a 1500. That's a big one. So, we'll have to rethink this one. I'm not taking it apart. I'm not doing it.
We'll improvise.
You're just gonna sit there and